Morning, YouTube. Got quite a bit to get done today. But first, I gotta send out a video for a guy who's been waiting for this one for quite a while now. And this video goes out to Lawnmower Racing. And he had asked me about the flatbed on the Danger Ranger. So, pretty simple really. I guess the story behind it goes that well, I don't know how much of it I explained in the last video of the Danger Ranger, but story goes that had a bad fuel pump and I needed to replace some brake lines because this being a Minnesota truck, it was all kinds of rusted. So I got underneath and started working on it and found out that all the bolts were rusted and somebody had used this strap to hold the gas tank up. And I finally said, piss on it. And I got all ticked off. And Roman and I took the torch to the box and chopped it off. Well, it seemed like a great idea at the time, but after we got the box off, I went, oh, crap, what do I do now? So, in typical Wick Ranch fashion, I went down to the shed and I grabbed some wood. Just old stuff that we had laying around. You know, we always save all our short pieces of wood and such. And you can see the wood for the bottom. And I laid out a flatbed. Cut all the boards exactly to length, like you see. And then since we didn't have any 4x4 blocks long enough laying around, I just took some 2x4s and laid them on edge, like you can see, screwed them together and used those for blocks. Well, if the way the frame is shaped, you can see there, if you'd have just laid the bed on there, you'd rub on the wheels and your bed would be all funny, you know, sitting. So then I had to go and I had to level out my bed. So I just shimmed it up a little bit at a time until I got the height I wanted at the back. You can see I've got some 1-bys back there. And then a little bit more there because the frame's pretty straight. Come down and place this 4x4 in such a way where it wasn't going to interfere with the tire. And then shimmed up the same there. And then figured out the proper amount of shim for block right in here. So then with all that done, I took my 4x4 and the bolt is actually, that holds it together, is actually underneath the bed. It's bolted into this piece of wood here and then bolted to the bottom. And then the bed is screwed on top. So with all of my 4x4s, or makeshift 4x4s, whatever you want to call it, in place, then I started laying out the bed on top. Got it centered and squared and set the way I wanted to, just inside the cab sides. And got it all set on. Well, then I had this nice wood bed that you can see. But I wasn't real happy with it because it looked like a hack job, quite honestly. And so I thought and scratched my head a bit, and I went up to our scrap iron pile and I found this angle iron. So I took this angle iron and I laid it out, drilled some holes so I could set the angle iron on the edge of the bed like this, and made my marks and notched it at 45-degree angles with the chop saw, and got it all laid on there. Brought the welder over and just made a tack there, and a tack on this corner, and a tack on the other corner, and made a framework. Well, by then I'd had a few beers in me and I was feeling pretty ambitious. And so the next step up was to take this piece of 1-inch stock and I brought it up. Measured up so far on this side and on that side. Made my marks and heated and bent the rod. Bent this one first, you know, bent it up to here. And then took another measurement, jotted it down, bent it there straight across. So I've got the same amount of bend on either side. It looks really uniform. Because if you don't mark it out and notch it like that, it'll come out kind of funny. And And then it just looks like shit, which I don't like something that I build to look like crap, because and people look at that and they go, oh, look, Wayne Wick built that, you know, and that's not the kind of reputation I want. So, bent it all real nice up, and then took some what is this? I think it's 1/8 inch plate that I had. Just welded all along the top side here. You can see where I welded there, and just welded it on there to make a back plate so nothing hits the back of the cab. And then I was feeling even more ambitious yet, so I just took this rectangular tubing, welded it, put a good solid bead all the way around, drilled my holes, took some finished 2x8, and screwed the 2x8 to here. So I've got sideboards now too. And lo and behold, I've got a flatbed on my Ranger. Well, it didn't stop there, because then I couldn't figure out how to mount my gas tank filler tube. So that was pretty easy. I just took another piece of angle iron, like you can see, and I screwed it to the bed there, and then just bent the tabs where this piece went into the box, bent it a little bit, and put the screws that would have gone into it right into there, and it holds it up there pretty nice. So then for tail lights, I had to figure out something, but I didn't have any extra tail lights laying around that I wanted to use. So I just took the tail lights that were on my Ranger, got some long screws, and put them right in the original holes. You can see right in there with wood screws. Toe-nailed them up in. Then put a piece of wood on this side, drilled a screw into the side of the tail light to help support it. It's pretty solid, and everything works just as it should. And the beauty of it is, I didn't even spend a dime. So there you go, lawnmower racing. That's how you build a bed. I hope your S10 bed goes the same way. Good luck.